Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show, baby. On the night after a wonderful election. Woohoo! Can you hear that? Hey, I just want to say.
Is that the 70s? We're going back to the 70s there.
Bro, that's what Donald Trump walks out to. The YMCA. Young man. Hey, listen, I want to say this right now, just so you know. We're the Instigators, and if we want to instigate, we will.
Exactly.
Chris and I are big Donald Trump fans. You don't
Yes,
like
I am. Yes, I am. He's Superman.
There's the door. Oh, wait a minute. There's the door. There's the window. Choose. I don't care. Just so you know. I can't tell you how excited I was today and how excited I am for the American people. What a victory. So just want to say that. This bud's for you. Back to the red, white, and blue. There it is. I love it. And I don't care if you like it, just so you know. And I know Kotzi and I are on the same page. Don't care. You don't like it? I don't care. Wait a minute. There's the door. There's the window. Pick what you want. He's got the oldest American brewery.
Yes, a little Yingling here. Little Yingling. And what's the line? God bless America today.
There we go. So, I mean, I guess what I should do is what I always do. Now that I had that little, wanted to let everyone know, I don't care if you like it. Let's go!
They set it up, and they've carried through.
Two big guys going at it, boy.
This is a big guy battle. Wow.
Well, an advantage for the Ranger. Remke had no helmet for Johnston, so those punches are going to hurt a little more when they land.
They'll let them go.
One guy's 6'7". How big's Johnston? 6'5"?
No, I think he's 6'7" also. Yeah, that's pretty good size.
I love it. Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show. I'm excited. We're all excited. Everything's about excitement.
Hello, Beth. Hello, Michael. Hello, Michael Ryback. Who else is there? Did I miss anybody? Nope, they're there.
I started off with MAGA, baby.
Yeah, hey, I'm not afraid. I think a lot of people, in this country walk around on tiptoes. Only the left can say what they want, But
yeah,
I'm not that guy.
I
don't want to cause any problems, but don't press me on it, because if you do, you'll fucking hear it. How's
Here
that?
we go. Well, anyhow. I'm a little bit of more of the crap star, so I don't care. I don't care. I'm so happy. I couldn't be. Today has been a glorious day. I will tell you, the funniest thing is I'm probably living on 2, maybe 3 hours sleep. I've had more energy today than I've had in the last 10 years.
Well, hold on a second.
Boy, did the boys love me at work today.
Would you pop a Viagra or something before you get on this show?
Oh, boy, man. I've been high all day, just high on life and excited about what's to come. We finally took our country back. So, exciting stuff. Exciting. I don't care.
In case people are wondering, I'm at my hideaway upstate New York. That's why I'm on this little laptop here. It kind of sucks, but eventually I'm going to have a big computer up here too.
It's not really from my side and from the viewer side.
No, I mean,
personal.
The volume sucks. You know what I mean? You only have a very limited amount of sound coming out of these things. So
Yeah. Yeah.
But for now, it's good enough. I'm at my hideaway. We're going to be here for at least a couple more days. Lisa and I and our two children, Boss and Luna. Paulie knows all about Boss and Luna.
Yeah. 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 Well,
the lake is still looking good. It was really wavy today, and there was a little bit of a red wave in there too, Paulie.
I love it. Oh my God. I'm going to have fun. Beth loaded me up with some really good content tonight. I don't know if we'll get to it all, but
Beth, listen, I keep telling you, it's up to you. I think Beth should be on this show full time.
Well, she is. She just likes to be behind.
No. I want Beth on the screen so she can have her say what you think about what we're saying. You know, all that. She knows her shit. Let her on.
Listen, I'm not
holding. I vote for Beth to be on the show full time. How's that? On the screen.
On the screen. Well, it's up to her. And I don't want to keep pushing her because she helps us so much. So whatever she wants to do, if she wants to come on, then she's more than welcome.
You got to come on, Beth. You got to come on. You have to come on. Yeah, but you got to let her give her points of view on hockey. She's intelligent enough. She's not like that Botterill up in Canada that got into it with Bieksa and Gazdic the other night. Did you see that?
Well, I didn't see it. I did see it. I read about it. I didn't see it though. No.
She tried to mansplain like payback in a hockey game, calling it dirty what Zajac did against Akari after Akari took out a player earlier. And Bieksa and Gazdic just put her right in her place.
Good. Well, I mean, if you want to get me started there,
you guys can look at that thing. You can look at that video. It's pretty good. It goes on for about 7 or 8 minutes live on Hockey Night in Canada.
Well, I know Beth is not going to like what I'm going to say right now, but I didn't cover this last show, and I should have, and I said I would. The assistant coach at
Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah.
I find it to be a bad idea. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good for the game. I don't think it's good for women. I don't think it's good for men. I don't like it. And I will bring up my points about it. Okay. For one, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I feel like if anyone who's played the game can just break through, then that really skews the professionalism and the exclusivity of what the NHL truly is. And I feel like, and I've said this before, I've said it, I know there's a glare up here. I've said it with even commentating, color commentating. I don't feel as though if you haven't played in the NHL, then I don't feel as though you should be commentating on the game, color commentating on the game, or with female coaching in the NHL, the way that we're seeing it now with Seattle. I just have a lot of concerns. I think it puts the athlete in a compromising position when it comes to the barriers that are there. I think that in today's work environment, it's a difficult. I think it's very difficult, and I think it's not has nothing to do with being a male chauvinist or anything like that. I just don't think it fits in the workplace for hockey players. And
you and I listen. We have talked about this before. You might forget we did talk about it.
I know. A
while ago. I don't remember. It was last year or earlier this year or whatever. I look at it as a former player that I get that the world loves their wokeness. I can't stand it personally, so I'm just going to be blunt about that. You can take your woke and stick it where the sun don't shine. But I agree with you, Paulie. I think in the end I have to agree with you because you're talking about men that have played the sport their whole lives. All of a sudden you're getting into a professional level, which is the best level of hockey that you can possibly play. You're getting paid a ton of money, and yet now you have to be careful as you tiptoe around the dressing room or tiptoe around practice or tiptoe around maybe breaking curfew. I'm giving you all the examples that of stuff that happens to pro hockey players. You know, you got to be careful how you talk. You got to be careful how you present yourself, where you're not really being yourselves in that dressing room. That dressing room is a sacred place for the players. It's players first in that room, not coaches either. I don't know if you knew that, eh? Like coaches come in and give you the rah, rah, rah and the pointers and all this stuff. But that's the players' room. Now you're putting a woman in there. I'm not going to insult the intelligence of a woman because they can do the dots in the eyes and all this stuff there when it comes to like how to play this, how to do that. It's just going to be uncomfortable at some point or another where you might say something and she might not like the way it's being said, or you might do something, pull a prank on your teammate in front of her. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of ramifications that could go on in that room. So
that's a good point.
I agree with you. I think it's probably an uneasy feeling being a player in that room. That's my guess anyways. But then again, we're also talking about these modern day players who have been brought up in that modern day woke way. So maybe they're okay with it. I can't see that happening in my day at all, to be honest with you.
Exactly. Here's my other question. And it's not and again, I'm gonna poke the bear. Here's my other question. You have 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids, 22-year-old kids, and adult men, okay, playing a game. She's not unattractive either, okay? She's just an attractive woman. Now, here's the other thing that really concerns me because what I've seen, I don't know. I think her apparel needs to be a lot more uniform. If I'm being honest, I think she needs to wear a polo. I think I just feel like there's lines here that can be crossed and can be scary, especially when you're dealing with young men, like you said. You're dealing with young men. And I'm sorry if you don't like it. It's the reality of what it is. But boys will be boys. And at the end of the day, I put it up there. How are guys listening to her on the bench? I've had other guys say, who's staring at her chest, who's looking at her lips, who's digging in on her. I mean, there's so many other ways that, what are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? And I don't want to hear, oh, well, you're men and you should grow up and you should behave yourself. There's also very young men that are barely college age. Okay, there's a lot to look at here. There's a lot of things that can be compromised. So I just don't like it. I don't think it works well. I really don't. And
again, Paulie, you could possibly be 100% right here, but again, we don't know exactly what the rules are with her in that dressing room. We don't know, what they've told her ahead of time, how you're supposed to act, and what Ronnie Francis, the man that runs Seattle right there, former teammate of mine, has told the players what it's all about, how to act around her. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, she's there. I just don't think it would work back in my day. Maybe it works for them. I don't know, but I agree with you. Deep down, I think I don't want to have to be careful in my dressing room. That's the way I look at it as a player. I had my routine when I played. I was one of the first players in the damn room early. I was always fixing my sticks and making sure my laces weren't going to break, in the middle of a game. All that shit. I also went for like 4 or 5 cups of coffee and smoked probably 5 cigarettes before a game. You know what I mean? So right. I had my routine, and after a game was one of those. I mean, we've gone through this before. We had female reporters come in. Did you think I was going to scramble around and get a towel and wrap it around myself just because they came in the room? No. This is my room, not yours. And I think a lot of the guys went like that back then. But today, I think it's a different athlete today, but I'm on your side on this one.
I wanted to cover it because I said I would last week. I had some other thoughts, and I wrote them down, but I didn't bring them up. So, we could always continue the argument later on. The other thing, Connor McDavid looks like he's going to
He'll be back. He's back.
Yeah. So, not this start that Edmonton wanted, though, but see what happens here. And then, of course, and Bet sent me this, and I haven't had a lot of time today, but Holloway.
Yeah, good.
What do you know about that? I wasn't able to really read the article.
I just know the puck got deflected, hit him just left of his throat area. So okay. I don't know how serious it was because I just kind of saw the video. I don't know. I didn't read into it afterwards. That was a pretty dangerous play. I mean, it is what it is. It does. Listen, for all the stuff, for all the years that hockey's been played, when you really think about it, like you're playing on an ice surface, which is not normal for normal people. You got knives under your feet. You got a club in your hand. You got a puck that's as hard as concrete. You think about it when an injury happens like this, how rare that is. Yeah. It does happen. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen. It's a rare thing for something like that to happen. I think he's all right now.
Yeah, he is.
They took him off the ice in a stretcher. Just one of those fluke things.
His airway is open and unobstructed. There's no swelling around the neck. Cautionary scan scheduled at hospital.
Yeah, it didn't hit him straight in the neck, though. I know it hit like to the side. So
yeah. So most of it was a lot more precautionary. Obviously, he was laboring with some of his breathing, but most of it was precautionary because it seems like he's got some minor swelling, but that's it.
Yeah, and then one of our people that's on the comments page, Tony Vargo, says that he'd probably be back Thursday. So, like a true hockey player, you tape a couple aspirins to it and get your ass out there.
Conti, how about those Winnipeg Jets there, pal?
Wow, that team's got it all. They're another team, though, Paul, that you and I have talked about for the last 2 or 3 years that have been so close, but they just can't seem to break through in the playoffs when they need to. Sometimes I think they've lost playoff rounds where I thought they were the better team. Right. But this year, they're a big team. They have skill. They got great defense, and they got, I know it's arguable, one of the best goalies in the league in Hellebuck.
Yeah.
So when you look at their numbers, I think they played, I don't know, like 13 games or something like that. I think they've scored like over 60 goals, but they've only given up 30, Paulie. 30 goals. That's it in like 13 plus games, something like that. That's not bad at all. I mean, that's pretty good. You're almost a little over 2-1 in goals against and goals for. So, they're good. They're a good team, and I think I read somewhere this year where a general manager anonymously said around the league that he thinks they're the real deal this year. So, early on, Winnipeg again get the pom poms out for the Winnipeg Jets. They're a solid team.
Tony in the chat room said first round exit Jets as usual. Let's see.
If they ever get past that first round, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kotz, who's the biggest surprise? Besides the Jets, who's the biggest surprise in the lose column right now for you?
In the what column?
In the loss column. Not doing so well.
Nashville. Yeah. Nashville's stinking the joint out.
Yeah.
You got some good players there. I mean, you got some really good players. You got a great president GM there and Barry Trotz. And you went out and you made a big splash and took Stamkos away from Tampa. Stamkos right now, he's struggling. I mean, I don't think that's what they paid for. I don't know how many games they played, but he's only got 2 goals and 3 assists, Paulie. That's not what they paid him to do.
Yeah.
He's struggling a bit. I know things happen like this with certain players at a certain age, but he's got to pick it up a little bit. But I think the rest of that team's not playing up to par. Yeah. And I read today that Barry Trotz is close to the feeling that he might have to rebuild this team. What does that mean? I have no clue. How do you rebuild a team that you thought you built in the summertime?
Yeah.
Early.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
and you and I like Barry Trotz. We've always liked him. I think he's a great hockey person. Yeah. He's proved it. He won your boy Alex Ovechkin a Stanley Cup. You know what I mean? He won it for him, not Alex Ovechkin.
That's the only time Kotze will tell you coaching won. Kotze, any other time will tell you it's up to the players, not to the coaches.
I cringe every night when I look at the score sheet and see that bum got another empty netter. Okay?
Yeah.
Every night.
Oh, my God.
I do. I cringe every night. And you know what? In the end, you're probably right. He'll probably stick around long enough. If he doesn't do it this year, he'll do it next year. But you know what? I'll be like a New York Yankee fan in baseball. That didn't happen when they tell me that he was the greatest scorer of all time. I'll just act like a New York Yankee baseball fan. That didn't happen. Anyhow.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. Yeah. And I'm a big Yankee fan, by the way.
How'd they do? By the way, how'd they do? Oh, I'm just kidding. I didn't watch one bit of it, but I read the New York Post every day, people. That's my go-to paper, believe it or not. And I got to read all the sour grapes that they had about what they should have done, what they shouldn't have done. Another lost year for the Yankees.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, listen, no doubt.
Hey, listen, the best thing in New York right now is the Rangers, okay? The football teams stink. The Knicks aren't playing up to their whatever.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, back to the Yankees and the Dodgers. The Dodgers were just a better team. They outplayed.
So you're still you still watch that
yeah, I do. I like
that might inducing sport on TV.
Baseball, especially when it comes to October. I do. The Fall Classic is one of my faves. So let me ask you. So Steve, okay, so we did that. Steven Stamkos, I do agree.
Yeah, he's got to wake. They got to wake up there in Nashville. I mean, they're not supposed to be at the bottom third of the league, and that's where they are right now.
Yeah, and then Kotz, we were talking before the show started.
You got O'Reilly there. You got Forsberg there. You got some good players. I mean,
they picked up Marchessault and they picked up Stamkos, but. Moving forward, I wanted to talk about. Now you made me I lost my train of thought, but I was thinking you were telling me, and I hadn't paid attention to it, that the former Ranger who couldn't do anything for us, Roslovic, is tearing it up in Carolina.
Apparently, I have no idea what his numbers are, but I read that today that he's doing a great job there in Carolina, where he couldn't do it with the Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't do anything with the Rangers.
I don't know what his numbers are, but I did read that on the Canadian Sports Network today, their website. They mentioned his name. Carolina's leading the division right now. They're ahead of the Rangers. Their record's pretty good, but the Rangers have played like 3 or 4 less games, so we'll see how that works out. But Carolina's another one of those teams every year, Paulie. They're the same thing every year. Really, really good. Really, really good. Maybe win a round. Maybe win a second round. But then after that, they shit their pants.
Yeah. And how about Cal McCarr, huh? This kid, man, he's something else, man. He's leading the league in points right now.
He's hurt. He got hurt.
23.
His other there, McKinnon's leading the league with 25 points, and yet they're
right in the
middle of the pack standings wise. They're not
great
either.
Not great. Yep. And Nikita Kucherov, 10 goals. He's something else, man. He's pretty dynamic there in Tampa. Reinhardt and Huscher. Oh, and wait a minute. They're all tied with 10 goals.
Yeah.
Caulfield, Nylander, Huscher, Reinhardt, and Kucherov. And then assist, again, Nathan McKinnon, 19, Cal McCarr, 18, Mark Stone, Kiprusoff, and Morrissey. So, and then Hellbuck, as you were talking about, wow, goals against average, 2.09. No, wait, sorry. He's 10, 2.10. Igor is 2.22. We got to talk about Igor Shesterkin. You want to talk about?
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that when we talk Ranger hockey. I also know that the Leafs have kind of picked up their game a little bit. They were kind of playing fire hockey there. Now they're 7-5-1, I believe. And
yeah,
I think Matthews has been hurt for a couple of games, but it's not like going to be a long-term injury. But he isn't exactly lighting it up this year like he was last year. He's a little bit behind the pace of last year. But I think in the end, the Leafs, like I've said in the past, Berube's going to get what he gets out of him. You know, he ain't going to take no shit from nobody. Right now, Stolarz has probably been one of their best players over the year so far. I mean, good pickup by them because that's been their problem over the years is finding that goaltender that'll get, you know, where the players can look back and go, at least this guy's going to give us a shot at making a good save.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got great goaltending behind you, you feel so much more confident as a player because you know if you fuck up, you got a shot with this guy.
Yeah.
But if you got an average goalie back there, you got your fingers crossed, your eyes crossed, every
breath,
hoping every so the guy misses the net or something. I mean, that's just the way it is. Goaltending.
How's your boy Uncle Vinny doing over there in Philly?
Oh, he's starting to stir the pot there a little bit. I don't know.
Oh, what else is new?
I think he benched the Russian Michinov or whatever. I don't even know how to pronounce the guy's name. He benched him, let him know that this isn't the way things are done here, son. He benched him there a little bit. Then he went off last night, I think, after they lost 6-4 to Carolina.
Of course he did.
He went off. I didn't see the video. I was going to watch it. But you know what? There's more people that like Uncle Vinny than you, okay? There is to it. There's more people in the hockey world that think Torts is a great coach and a great guy.
I gotta think that his days are numbered as an NHL coach, man.
Yeah, not yet. You know whose days I'll tell you whose days could and should be numbered is Martin St. Louis.
Ooh.
Well, he's been there for almost this will be going into his third year? The Canadians still stink.
Martin.
So, explain how much rope does this guy get?
I don't know. He's going to get.
Listen, I can appreciate everything he's done as a player.
Right.
Beat the odds, small guy, great offensive numbers, Stanley Cup, all that stuff. But that team's either underperforming or the coaching sucks. Which one is it? You know what I mean? And I'll add to it. Let me add to this, okay? My personal feeling is that if you are a superstar status hockey player, Hall of Fame, close to Hall of Fame type player, you go look at the history of these guys who ended up coaching in the NHL.
And we're successful.
Show me how many Stanley Cups they won.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree.
Doesn't work, eh?
No.
Gretzky tried it. How'd he do?
Yeah. Didn't fare so well.
No, it didn't. It's not Gretzky's fault. He just didn't have the horses, but his coaching record's not very good.
Yeah.
And you look at St. Louis' coaching record right now stinks.
Yeah, I don't,
And if you look at the guys that win Stanley Cups, they're not the star players. Most of them don't even make the NHL.
Yeah. It's true.
So, there's something to that.
Yeah. Right now, speaking of which, your Predators and your favorite Capitals are tied 2-2. And
My favorite?
oh yeah, and just so you
My
know, Steven Stamkos got a goal in that game.
Well, listen, I'm not. I don't want to be like overly critical of him, but they did get him there to score goals.
No, I agree, 100%.
He's not there to. He's not there to forecheck, back check, and just pick up a paycheck. You know what I mean? He's there to score goals.
And no goals right now for Alex Ovechkin.
Well, if it's a 3-2 game or a 2-1 game late in Washington's favor, he'll be out there for the empty netter.
You're somebody. And then the Red Wings and Blackhawks. Red Wings are up 1-0. That's a team that I don't know what they're going to do this year.
They're up and down, aren't they?
Yeah, the Red Wings. Patrick Kane.
They look really. Some nights they look really, really good, and then some nights they look like crap.
Yeah. So curious to see what transpires there with the Red Wings, because I thought they were coming on last year a little bit. They looked pretty good, and then didn't they shit the bed late last year and didn't make the playoffs?
Nope, you're right. They look good. They look like they were going to make the playoffs.
They were making a run, and then and now this year not so good. So
it's still early. We're not even at the 20-game mark, Paulie. It's still early for a lot of teams, but there's a lot of telltale signs with a lot of these teams. I mean, I don't know if general managers just guessed wrong, you know what I mean, about what they thought they had. I mean, I can understand the teams in the lower part of the standings. They're not, most of them are trying to rebuild, like Anaheim, San Jose, stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of teams that aren't doing great. There's a lot of teams that are doing great, but it's still early in the season, so we'll have to see how it all comes out in the wash. But the halfway point is when you start worrying.
Yeah. And Chris Kotsopoulos sends me a article today that we're going to discuss about the Boston Bruins keep losing because of Massachusetts state income tax for business.
Read it.
It is. We've talked vague.
This is an interesting article.
It is.
Go ahead.
It takes a lot, and the article is good, and I think we've covered a little bit from time to time on this, but it takes a lot to lure good, dynamic players to those areas now, because, like you had said, and you sent me the thing, is that you look at New York, you look at Massachusetts, you look at these areas where the tax brackets are so.
My hometown, Toronto, Montreal.
You could sign a player to $10 million a year, which is usually about the high average for a star player, 10 to 12, and in places like Toronto and New York and Massachusetts, those players are actually bringing home a lot less of that pay. Where if they were in Florida, or if they were in Nashville, or if they're in those tax-free states, those, my state in Florida here, we have no state tax. We pay federal, but we don't pay state. So I take a lot more home than I would somewhere else. And when you're talking millions of dollars like that, I mean, you're talking
a lot of coin, a lot of coin.
$10 million contract in Boston. You're lucky if you're clearing 7.
Oh no, even worse than that.
Or worse than that. Here in Florida, you'll clear 8+. So,
I can't remember the exact numbers from the article. I'm not that good anymore in my memory. But for example, a guy like Pasternak in Boston, I believe his salary is somewhere between 12 and 13 million or something like that. He's making a year. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little high, but after taxes and everything's all said and done, he's taken home like 7 point whatever million, just over 7 million, something like that.
That's brutal.
I know people are saying, well, it's only 7 million, but they gave they compared an example of being in Florida or Dallas, Texas, or Nashville or Vegas, where there is no state tax, where he'd be taking home $2 million more a year. And the next comparison was something to do with Brad Marchand, where he's not quite making the same money because he's up there in age, but I think his salary was like right around $6 million a year or something like that. And over a 4-year period, if he'd have played in Tampa, for example, he would have got $2 million more over a 4-year period, like than he's getting in Boston. So I guess the whole thing about the story is that what you kind of said at the beginning, if you're trying to lure a big name free agent and you know you're going to have to pay, upwards of 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 million to get him, you might not get him in the big cities anymore.
Right.
Because over a term of say you get 10 million a year for 6 years. Okay, that's $60 million. Well, $60 million in New York, you're going to be lucky to see like 38 million. Where if you go to Tampa, you'll probably see 45 million.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Those are a lot. That's a lot of coin that you're giving up just to play in a certain city. Now, I do get it though, because if you won a Stanley Cup already, then I understand totally why you'd want to finish your career in a place where there's no state tax. Because in the end, you can't put a Stanley Cup ring across the belt on a grocery store and pay for your bills. Okay, that Stanley Cup ring looks good on your finger, but when you go up to that worker that does they don't even do that. The pay machines now they have at grocery stores. It ain't paying for your meals; it's the money. So I do understand that now. But that it was an interesting article about that. How
Of course.
What a big difference it is in certain cities and how the money works one way and how the money works in another place. So,
right. Well, I mean, it is 7 minutes after the hour here.
Yeah, we're getting closer. It's almost time to talk Ranger hockey. I got to grab myself another beer, so you hold the fort for a second.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to start talking Ranger hockey. Start talking politics. I'm going to start talking stuff. Did I tell you what a great day it is here in America? Very excited. It's awesome.
Well, it certainly is.
I mean, I guess I want to start with let's start with the shakeup, the line shakeup. I like them for the New York Rangers. I thought we saw a couple different mixes that were actually can be something to further examine. And then I think the bottom line is the New York Rangers either have to find a way to get Zibanejad to become what he once was, or I don't know if there's a possibility of moving him or what the possibilities are, but he's just not – he's not what the New York Rangers need, and I don't know that they can – I'll be honest. With this roster, and I know – and listen, I don't want to fucking hear it because I said the same thing last year, and I was right last year, and I'm going to say it again. Igor is saving the bacon. And I know Kotze made a great point before. It's great to have great goaltending. But great goaltending is not going to win it all for you. You're going to have to produce up front when it matters. You're going to have to score goals when it matters. You're going to have to take the body when it matters. You're going to have to win puck battles when it matters. You're going to have to play defense when it matters. And at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like this team for a lot of things. And I get it. They're winning and they got points and they did the same shit last year and the year before and the year before that. So I really don't want to hear it. I get it. Panarin's playing good hockey again. Lafreniere, there's a lot of good things. Lafreniere's showing how brilliant he is becoming. There are some bright spots. You look at Hedl. If he can stay healthy, my God, we might have something there. If Kako can put the puck in the net, we might get dangerous.
Well, he's got 8 or 9 points so far, Kako. He's doing pretty good. I mean, he's not scoring, but he's got the points.
So there are some bright spots, but defensively, this team is disgusting. And the New York Rangers have to address both Keandre Miller. I know what you get out of Adam Fox gives you more than Keandre Miller will give you when it comes to the offensive side of the puck. But I'm sorry, Keandre Miller, this has to be addressed. You're not going to win a Stanley Cup with this team right now. There's going to have to be tweaks made. You're going to have to get a little bit. I do like Riley Smith. I think Riley. I like his speed. He's got great hands. I'm hoping that he's going to put it together. But I'm sorry. Allowing 40 shots a night. I think this team needs some help, man. I'm sorry. And it starts with Zibanejad. Something has to be figured out with Mika Zibanejad. Whether he's going to stay or you got to figure a way to move him.
Well, you much like me with my obsession with Ovechkin, this is your yearly obsession with the Rangers. You got to admit it. We both have obsessions about certain things. Listen, you're not wrong on a lot of your points there, okay? I look at the way the team is right now. I think what you're getting is you're getting so much more improvement out of Will Cooley, okay? Yes, I'm going to say it. Filipino has improved finally after 8 years or 7.5 years or whatever, okay? Kaapo Kakko, considering the ice time he's getting, he's doing what he has to do. You're getting improvement from certain players there, okay?
Agreed.
Lafreniere, obviously. Panarin's doing his job. Shesterkin and Quick. Quick played 2 games, won both games, has a better goals against average than Shesterkin does. So all that's the good part. You and I talked before the show started. Every game you play in the NHL doesn't have to be a heavy game because not every team is a heavy team. But you have to have a roster that's able to adapt to be heavy when needed. And I have to get my glasses on here. When you play the Florida Panthers, okay, I'm going to read this. You need Schneider to play heavy because he's capable physically of doing that. You need Keandre Miller, to play heavy because his size alone lends you to believe that he should be able to play heavy.
Right.
You need Trouba to play heavy. You need Will Cooley to play heavy. You need Kreider to play heavy. You need Edstrom to play heavy. And you need Victor Mancini to play heavy. I look at the roster, and these are the guys that are capable of physically doing that job when you play a heavy team. Right now, when you saw it against Florida, they didn't play heavy against them. Florida played way heavier than them. That's part of Florida's magic. They can play heavy, all 4 lines. They got guys on every line that plays heavy. Okay? Their defense will hit you. Their forwards will hit you. I'm just showing you the guys that are supposed to be capable of doing that when you have to play a heavy team. It's not always about skill, Paulie. Like every game, you're not going to be up and down the ice like Firehouse Hockey was like every game. There's going to be games where you got to win 3-2, and it's going to be a physical, tough contest.
You got to grind it out, yeah.
And you have to have players that are willing to hit, but hit with meaning. Not you and I have said this for almost 15 years now. You don't just hit a guy for the sake of rubbing him. You hit the fucking guy to hurt him.
Yeah.
That's the intent.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. Oh, you shouldn't be that way in the woke world. Bullshit. I'm not going to back off a hit when I know I can KO the guy. Are you kidding? But these guys have to learn that themselves, and obviously some of them haven't. Keandre Miller, he's just mystifying to me. I had a chance to talk to him at the Ranger outing this year, and the guy's got size, Paulie. The guy can skate as good as anybody on the team.
Yeah.
If not better. He can actually handle a puck pretty damn good, too, for a guy his size. He's got a great shot. But he doesn't play to this 6'5" frame and his 218, 20-pound body. He doesn't play that way.
Right.
If how many years have I been telling you? If this guy ever got mean and listened to me totally about playing mean, when you get a chance, you hit that guy with force. You let him know. Every time you come in my corner, you're going to pay physically. The world would be his oyster. He would be able to carry the puck better than Adam Fox can. But they don't respect him. Players in the league don't respect him for the physicality part because they know they're not going to get hurt by him. They know there's not going to be any consequences. And he's not the only one. Chris Kreider has to pick up the game too. Chris, it's not all about you standing in front of the net and tipping in power play goals. There's going to be games where they need you to hit their defenseman like your defensemen are getting hit.
Yep.
It's all about adapting. These players have to adapt to the team that they're playing against.
Yep.
Sometimes you don't need it. That's why you don't see Rempe in the lineup every game. That's why you see Rempe down, Rempe up, Rempe down. You don't need it every game. Okay? Now, those are the guys that are capable of doing it. And I agree with you. Like, you're either going to stay with the status quo, and these guys are going to perform that way as the season goes on, or you're going to have to make a move or two. Now, the other thing I want to talk about that you and I talked about earlier, when they played Florida last year, how big is Barkov?
Yeah, he's a big man. I think he's.
And how strong is he?
Right? Is he about 6'5", 6'4", 230?
Yeah, 6'4", 225, something like that. Strong on the puck, great hands. Great hands for the game, very talented player. But going into the playoffs last year, was there any centerman that could actually play him head-to-head on the physical side?
Nope. Trocheck's too small. He's got the heart, but he's not big enough.
Not big enough.
The only centerman that actually, size-wise is at least, I don't know, Mika might be giving up maybe 10 pounds to him. I think
he's giving up more than that. He's giving up a couple inches and at least 20, 30 pounds.
So, you really don't have somebody in the middle.
So here's my theory. Put Adam Edstrom at center. I'd like to see him play center somewhere this year.
I'd like it.
He's big. The man can skate. He can handle the biscuit. He's not afraid of body contact. So when you play heavy teams and they have that heavy center like a Barkov or like Washington with that Protas guy and all these guys that they have there now, you can put him at center with these guys and it should be a stalemate when it comes to give and take of who's going to get the best of each other. I'd love to see Edstrom turn into a centerman.
Yeah.
I think he skates well enough that he can handle that, Paulie.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. But when you play a heavy team, you got to be able to adapt to their style of hockey. Not think you're going to go whizzing around with your skill and all that stuff. It's not going to happen like that.
Yeah.
And if you look at all the Stanley winners over the last 4 or 5 years, they all have that ability to play heavy when they need to.
Right.
And right now the Rangers don't have that ability in my mind in general. They just don't have that ability to play that way.
I don't disagree. I agree with you 100%. All the players that you mentioned that need to play heavy in those circumstances, I think there's 3 that I can say actually do. Trouba will play heavy usually any night.
I mean, you just can't have one guy.
No, I know.
You can't have one guy in the defense doing it or one guy up front doing it. You have to have each line has to have one guy that has to turn up the game physically when needed.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
Each pairing of defensemen has to be able to make the other team worry about going in the corner with them.
Yeah, and Enstrom, like you said, I like that idea. But Enstrom is actually, I said this last year, and I know we talked about it, but I wanted to see him in the playoffs last year.
Well, I know you did.
I like him a lot, man. I like him physically, like you said. Now that he's got a taste, he's dropped the gloves. He's getting that. He's got a little bit of that. You want to see him get that edge, that that little chippy, edgy part of his game, and he's starting to absorb part of that. And like we said, he's big, he's strong. He goes to the net. He skates well, man. I'm sorry for such a big man.
Oh, yeah.
He skates well, man, and he drives the net. He'll go in the dirty areas. I like him, man. I'm very excited about that.
And I just think his game would blossom more. He would be able to show off more of his skill if you give him that center ice job, because the center iceman can roam both sides of the boards, the middle and both sides. You're allowed to roam as a centerman.
Right.
That's just my opinion. I would try him at center somewhere down the line during the season. I really would.
Yeah. I like it. I like the idea. I like him a lot. The other kid, I can't talk enough about. First of all, I want to say that I like Cooley's game. I think Cooley is starting to really set in, and play a little more confident. Obviously,
he leads the team in hits.
Yeah.
Okay, the second player that leads the team in hits?
Lynch.
This doesn't bode well. But you know who's second in hits on the Rangers? Trocheck.
Okay.
Think about that.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be happening. Trocheck, he's a gamer. He sticks his nose in there, but there should be other guys that are just behind Cooley when it comes to, hitting.
How about a defenseman? How about what is? Well, listen, I don't know what else to say about Keandre Miller, but you've been talking about this for a bunch of years now. At the end of the day, if the kid isn't going to play the game the way his body is structured to play the game, then I'll tell you what, man. I've had it. I've had it up to here. I love Mancini, by the way.
You know what you sound like now? You sound like me with Hedel for 7 years. Think about it. How bad I was on him for 7 years. I get it. I still have hope for Keandre Miller.
Just seems such a.
And it's only been 3 years and change for Keandre Miller.
Yeah, I will say though, I tell you what, I'm glad Laviolette got his ass out of his head because got his head out of his ass because what a nightmare with Keandre Miller and Adam Fox. That was the worst pairing in all of pairing history.
Yeah, the two guys that are least that won't play.
All the rest, they both take the worst risks in the world. My God, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. But I do love Mancini. I love this kid.
And I think they're doing it right with him. I think they're doing it right with him. They're breaking him nice and slowly. But I think by the end of the year or last third of the year, you'll see him probably. He'll be a full timer.
Yeah.
Watch.
Yeah, he deserves that too. He's playing like a pro, man. So I know you got your top 5 list.
What's that?
I said, I know you got your top 5 list. What's your top 5 performers?
Right now, the guys that are playing up to what they're expected are Shesterkin, and I'm adding Quick in there because he's the backup. He's 2-0. But Shesterkin's, you and I talked about, I don't know what they're going to do. It's a damned if you do and damned if you don't about signing this guy to that long term. I personally would not sign him to a long-term deal. I would sign him to a 4 or 5 year deal.
That's what I said.
You know what I mean? But I the way he's playing, he probably deserves a 20-year deal. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it. He's been outstanding. My second obviously is Panarin. Panarin's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. he's leading the team in scoring, and like that's what he's getting. He's getting paid to do that, and he's up to it. The next player that I'll admit it, Filipino. My criticism of him is getting a little less and less now because he looks like he's engaged now. Looks like he's got confidence in his game, which I never saw from him, period. You did, but I didn't. I never saw that out of him at all. I always thought that he was like a little bit of a malingerer, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, always looking down, but he looks like he's really, really into it now.
He's focused.
Understands it a little bit, the game a little bit better. Yeah. And he's playing with confidence, and I'll tip my hat to him. The other guys, obviously Lafreniere, can't complain about him, what he's been doing. I mean, they're moving him from the top line to the second line, blah, blah, blah. Still not getting the power time that he deserves, but that'll come. And Cooley's been everything you want out of a guy. He's probably should have 2 or 3 more goals. He's had a whole bunch of goals taken away from him. You know what I mean?
I know.
The poor kid. Every time he scores a goal, he's got to look around and see if there's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Again, I mean, those are the guys. I think Kakko's doing all right considering the ice time he's getting. But I do like Riley Smith. He's starting to come on a little bit. I think Carrick's doing an okay job. I just think in the end, you talked about it earlier, and I never really got into it, but I'm going to get into it now. The defensive zone responsibilities of each player right now is lacking. There's no reason why guys should be shooting from 10, 15 feet in front of the net. There's no reason why guys should be left alone in front of the net. That's just lack of awareness on a player. I'm sure the coaches have gone through it with each player. Here's your responsibility. Make sure you do what you're supposed to do. Don't get caught staring at the puck. You and I've talked about this year after year. They're looking at the puck, Paulie. They're not looking at the players that they're supposed to be picking up. And that's why Shesterkin has to make all these great saves. That shit's got to stop. I always told you this, and I've always lived by this when I play. If one player fucks up on the ice on a 5-on-5 in your own zone, that doesn't mean 2 of you do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When 2 and 3 of you start screwing up, that means one thing to me. You're watching the puck. You're not watching the player behind you. You're not watching the player that's above you. You're not watching the guy that's over to the left. That's player awareness. That's on the players, Paulie. You'd think by this time, these guys would understand that. Once you cross into your blue line, it's not about offense anymore. Stop thinking it's about offense. It's about defending your goal and getting the puck up the ice. That's what it's about. That shit's got to stop because Shesterkin, if he does this for 80-something games, you know what I mean, for 65 games this year, it'll be a miracle.
Yeah. They're
That's my feeling on it.
I agree. They got to tighten up their responsibilities. But what I've watched a lot of, what I've seen more of, and I've really been honed in on it, and I have been watching Zibanejad and Miller really a lot. The unforced turnovers, just bad mistakes, trying to force plays, trying to force a pass. I watched Zibanejad and Miller, I think it was against the Islanders, and you're winning the game. There's just basic principles, man. When you're winning games, don't take unmanaged, unforced, risks. Get the puck deep, change. Let's go. Let's move. Let's keep the flow going. Get the puck on net. You're not looking to score goals. Get the shot on net. Let's win a face-off in the zone. Let's make something happen. And I just constantly start to see these guys trying to make this second and third pass or the second and third play. And I'm like, I watched a series of just unforced turnovers in the neutral zone and in the defensive zone And I'm thinking to myself, you're so lucky this isn't a better team that can make you pay, because I watched it. And I thought to myself, I said to myself, I said, there's one turnover, and I watched the Benedict. There's another turnover. There's the same player in probably from the blue line to the red line. I was like, I just don't get the unforced error.
No, I
Bury
get.
the fucking.
No, I get exactly what you're saying. See, when you're a struggling player, and I've seen a lot of them in my day, and there was times where I struggled. I remember when I got to the Toronto Maple Leafs, I was out of shape because I walked out of camp in Hartford, so they kicked the shit out of me training wise for 2 weeks before I played my first game. I didn't even start the season, on the opening roster. I went out west. All I did was I was get bagged every day skating. When I came to play, finally got to play, my first 2-3 games, I was awful. When I say awful, we played Montreal one night in Toronto, and I was on the ice for like 4 goals against. And I think I mentioned to the paper that night when they asked me, I think Montreal knew that I was struggling, and they decided to just shoot one from behind the net off my shin pad in the net. I think it was Zibanejad. Well, it happened. I was like -4 one night, and that's what happened. They knew I was playing. One time in that game, just to make it clear, they shot it off my shin pad, and it went into the net from behind the net. The next time they scored, it was a 2-on-1. I went down, put the stick on the ice. Instead of the goalie staying in the middle of the net, he went where the puck was going to be, hit my stick, and went in the net. It was one of those games where everything I did was wrong.
Wow.
Everything I did it just turned out wrong. With Zibanejad, I think sometimes when he's struggling here, he's still trying to make those passes that he was making when things are going good. Well, that surprises me of a veteran player. When things aren't going good, you got to make the safe play until that confidence comes back to you. So I don't know what they're telling him, but I also think the league has changed to the point now, Paulie, where there's less physical contact these days. So a defenseman gets the puck inside his blue line, or a forward gets it at his blue line, they're trying to make that pass through 3 or 4 sticks now. That's great and fine when you're up by 2-3 goals. But if you're in a tight game, you don't make that play. You take the safe play off the boards. Let's try it again.
Right.
So I think the game has changed to the point now where they're always looking for that unbelievable pass right on the tape. The guy's in for a breakaway, this, that. Oh, this guy's trailing the play, but I got to go through 3 pairs of skates to get it. Got through the first 2, but it nipped the 3rd pair of skate, and now they're going the other way. Right. I mean, this is the kind of shit that I remember when I played, and that hasn't changed. You know what I mean? When you're struggling and your game is not up to par, you got to play safe until you build that confidence back. I thought Zibanejad was a little better the last 2 games, but he needs to pick it up again because he's technically the number 1 center on the team.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Well, they have had plenty of rest, plenty of practice. They play tomorrow night. Looking forward to it. And I think what is it, Buffalo? I
think they got Detroit tomorrow night, don't they?
You might be right.
I think they're in Detroit. You know that team I played 2 games for? My last game as an NHLer was in L.A. against the L.A. Kings with Wayne Gretzky. At least I could say that.
Roslovic, thank you, Beth. Roslovic's got 7 goals already, bro.
There you go.
Unbelievable. Anyway,
you know what it is, a guy like Roslovic? He couldn't do it in Columbus. He couldn't do it in the big lights in New York. He goes to a place like Carolina where nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean? The media is probably not big there.
Yeah.
You know, so he's relaxed. I mean, I always thought he could skate and pass the puck.
He could skate like the wind, man.
And he did get to the blue line and inside the blue line pretty good with the Rangers. He just couldn't finish.
Yeah, it's Buffalo tomorrow, Pat.
Is it Buffalo? Okay. At home?
It says Madison Square Garden.
All right.
Yep. So,
and then off a little bit.
Buffalo home, and then in Detroit on Saturday.
Okay.
So,
I agree with CJ Jr. here about what he said about Mancini, though. I do remember that hit. CG, I do remember the hit that he laid out Tom Wilson with. Wilson kind of looked up at him like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Remember that hit Mancini plowed into Wilson? By the way, did you see Wilson get his ass kicked by what's that guy from Montreal, number 17?
No, I didn't see
Oh,
that.
he got his ass kicked by him. Come on, where's Michael? Ryback, you're a Canadian guy. I love that player. Number 17. I've always wanted him. I can't remember his name.
He's the one who's going to go after Rempe next, or he's going to go after Trouba
No,
next?
it wasn't Zajac. It was somebody. It was 17, a regular player. He went out. He jumped in to defend his teammate with Wilson, and he beat the fuck out of Wilson.
Oh, I got something for you, Carl. I just noticed Carl got here late, so I got something for you, buddy. Hold on. It's gonna take me a minute. Oh, hold on. It's gonna take me a minute here. There we go. This is my guy. This is my
Show
guy.
your daughter how much you love her with this beautiful gift.
Hold on.
To my daughter.
Here you go, Carl.
That's it, Anderson.
Can you hear this? Can you hear it? Here you go, Carl. We did it, baby. Woo!
And Paulie was probably dancing to this back then, too. Yeah, he's got it.
Little DT there.
Hey, listen, it was Josh Anderson from Montreal. You got to look at it.
He threw him a beating there, you say, eh?
I think he put a pretty good beat on Wilson.
Oh, good.
And it was an even Steven square up. I mean, it was like nobody jumped anybody.
Hey, what did you think before we go here? What did you think of I mean, I can't believe we're even Dylan McElrath's name, to be honest with you. I mean, God, I remember in 2010 when we were talking about him. Oh, we can't wait for the Rangers to bring this kid up. And then, what'd you think of that tilt with Matt Rempe?
I think it was a pretty close fight. I think I'll give McElrath the edge, a little bit of the edge. Listen, McElrath's been around. He's been up and down with the Rangers. He was up and down with Detroit. He's been up and down with Washington. He's been around. He never really got a legitimate chance to play with the New York Rangers at the time, when you think about it, coming off that knee injury. So he's been in NHL. Good for him, And Rempe's going to learn. He's got to learn that, that not this is the big boys league. It was good. I liked what happened. I got no problem with it. You're not going to win them all. That's all there is to it. Yeah. McElrath didn't win them all either. Go look at his fights in the minor leagues. He doesn't win them all the time.
Yeah.
Nobody wins them all, Paulie. Bobby Probert got his ass kicked. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their ass kicked at one time or another, and not just once, more than once. I know, I'm living legend twice. I got my ass kicked by two pretty big names. One by Bobby Probert and one by Larry Playfair. Okay? It happens.
It happens. Well, you know what else is happening? I'm closing the show. We got to go.
Close the show.
Josh
Anderson. Beth Ryback, thank you for coming up with that. I've always wanted that guy in the Rangers. I think he'd look good in the Ranger uniform rather than that crappy red, blue garbage in Montreal.
I really wish you would do some coaching.
He's a guy that could play against Barkov center-wise. He's big, strong.
I'm going to look it up.
Look it up and let me know what you think.
All right. Well,
all right, people.
Boys and girls.
The next show will be next week. I'll be back in Pennsylvania. The state that put Trump over the top.
I love it, man. What a great day. What a great day for America. I love it. I can't find the camera here.
You got to stop drinking that crap. Start drinking real beer.
That's good stuff. Anyway, didn't see Barry Shelley. And I wanted to see Barry Shelley because I'm taunting the shit out of somebody on his page, boy. Oh my God.
I finally saw that what those guys are telling Barry to do. Like here's a guy that served. Barry served. He served in the military. And he doesn't you don't have a right to say what you want on your own page. You have people telling you what to think.
Yeah.
That's what Democrats and lefties do. They think they should be able to tell you how to think.
Bro, I tore into this guy and then
I know, I saw it.
Oh, but today I even had more fun. I'm like, hey Gomer, where you at? Trump 2024, bitch. He's in his crawl.
I'll admit it. I had to delete a bunch of people, and I had to, and a few people deleted themselves after what I posted with the Scott Baio thing today and the Trump thing. So, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. I don't need you in my life, so fuck off. Okay.
It's all good.
Never have, never will. It is what it is.
So happy. So happy. Today's the day of elations. Anyway, I'm elated. You're elated. That's all that really matters. The country's better off, and here we go. Next week, we'll figure out what we're doing. If I had to take a guess, next week, I probably want to look at Tuesday of next week. So let me know if it works. We'll take a look at the schedule. We'll go from there. And then that's it. Tuesday, yeah, because I don't even want to tell you what I have to do next week. But keep it tuned. And
you know what I get to do when I get back home? I get to go see Iron Maiden with Michael Ryback, the Montreal Canadian fan.
Nice.
Going to see Maiden, and we're going to the Rock in Jersey.
Will Bruce Dickinson be the lead vocalist?
Yes, he is. He is. I like the other guy who just passed away, but Michael tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, I like Bruce. I told you that I saw them, and that's I'm going to see them.
Back when you were a little teeny bopper.
He was pissed too, man. He was pissed. All right, everyone. Good night. We'll catch you next week. Thanks for being here, and make sure you share the stream with others. We'll see you. Donald Trump 2024, baby. MAGA.